Conversations with Nicole. Let's talk about it. Tell me all about it. I'm here. I wanna know what's on your mind. Ooh, the world needs to hear from you, and I'm so glad to have a conversation to reach the nation. And it's all about you. We'll help each other to discover innovative ways to positively change the world. Let's talk about, let's talk about, yeah. Let's talk about conversations with Nicole.
Greetings. Welcome to Conversations with Nicole. I am Nicole Everett, your host, and Conversations with Nicole is a talk show based in Tallahassee, Florida, focused on connecting the community through conversations. And today is what I call Mindset Monday, which is an opportunity for you, me, and my guests to chat about something interesting and intriguing. And today we have the closer, Mr. Ozzie Daniel, who is no stranger to Conversations with Nicole. I think this is his fourth appearance, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, he comes on the last Monday of the month, and it's been like every other Monday in 2025. So we are super excited and delighted to have him here with us. But before I bring Mr. Ozzie Daniel on, I need to hear from you. Where are you tuning in from? We are live on Facebook, YouTube, and on LinkedIn, and your comments and questions are very much so welcome. Tonight we'll be talking about Cultivated. Cultivated. Y'all need to stick around to find out what it is. So please put your city and state in the comments. Like, share, tag a friend, and let them know they need to be on here. And we'll definitely give you a shout out. I see Mom is on down in Miami. Thank you for being here, Mom. Mom had a birthday last Monday. So happy belated. Look forward to celebrating you soon. All right. Miss Stephanie Clark is here in Tallahassee. Thank you for being here, Stephanie. Appreciate you. All right. I know there will be others joining us, but I don't want to keep Ozzie backstage for long. So I'm going to go ahead and share his bio. So Ozzie Daniel graduated with honors in psychology and organizational leadership, served in the U.S. Navy, completed many tours overseas. He, during his career in the Navy, served in many departments in the communication field and special forces. He considers himself to be a servant leader, and he enjoys serving others while building a mind of faith and gratitude in the community. He works in the mental health field as a clinician family coordinator and mental health skill builder, and he focuses more on the holistic approach to mental health, which includes the whole well-being to enhance the quality of life. He enjoys relaxation, listening to jazz music, reading, cooking. And one of his favorite quotes is, "No one cares how much you know until they know how much you care," as well as, "It does not cost a thing to be kind, but be kind to yourself first." So y'all help me welcome Mr. Ozzie Daniel.
Hey, good evening, everyone. Hey, Nicole.
Hey, Ozzie.
And it's another Monday,
It's
a
another
Mindset Monday
mindset
on
Monday.
the last day of the month,
The last day of
Monday.
yes, last
So I tell
day
you,
of the first half of the year. So
first half.
yeah,
And now it's time. You know how you go up in the roller coaster, and now we're going to take that dip. Now we're going to take that dip into the next 6 months of the year.
mhm.
So we're
You
going
ready?
to just make the best out of it, of the
Indeed.
now.
Indeed.
Yes,
Indeed, we are. So Ozzie, tell the people, who is Ozzie Daniel? Not what you do, but who are you?
who I am. I am who I am. Well, I could say this, as I normally say on the Mondays that I normally come on. I am an evolving man that have no end, and I'm grateful for life. And who I am basically is just everything Nicole just said a while ago, and I enjoy life, and I make the best out of every day. And I really like just studying and developing and cultivating this thing called the mind, which we are actually going to speak on tonight. I'm a father of two beautiful young people. I don't call them children because they're grown, but they are wonderful human beings. I love them very much. And I just making the best out of them now. That's all I am.
All right, wonderful. Well, glad to have you. It seems like forever. I know it's only been 2 months ago, but it seems like quite a long time.
Oh,
But
yeah.
glad to have you on here tonight.
Thank
So
you.
before we get going with our topic, because I have a clinician on, I got to read my disclaimer. I don't want you all to confuse this for counseling. So all topics past, present, and future on Conversations with Nicole are for informational purposes only. They are not to be used as a diagnosis for treatment or an answer to any personal issues related to the topic being discussed before, during, or after the program. All right, so Ozzie, cultivated.
Cultivated.
What are we cultivating?
That's a very good question there, Nicole. What are we cultivating? And we could just look in so many different directions
Mm-hmm.
and different topics on cultivating. But the main part of tonight that we want to focus on is what are we developing in our own mind, and what are we thinking daily in our own mind, because we are habitual thinkers.
We
Some
are.
people are habitual feelers, but
Mm,
are we really thinking, and are we really in tune with our thoughts?
mm,
Because whatever our thoughts are, that's who we are. That's
mm,
who we become. That's what we will be, whether consciously or unconsciously, aware of it or not aware of it. But the
mm.
key is right now is being aware to the degree that we could think on a positive stage, so we could be able to get past our challenges and negative experiences, and using it as a platform to catapult us into our best.
Okay. So I want
Now,
to pause. I
mhm.
want to pause. We got a few people that have joined us. Key Boykins, good evening. Thank you for being
Hey,
here.
Kiki.
Miss Jeanette down in Miami Gardens, thank you for joining us. And Enigma Sep, he said, I'm definitely an overthinker.
Yeah,
So, Eve, I think we are part of the same club because I definitely am an overthinker as well.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
So now we need to bring that balance into play. So
We do.
hopefully, after this evening and this hour of power, we'll be able to bring some balance into that, so we could know how to, navigate through that.
Yes.
So,
We got a few more folks that just joined on. Ish, who's out of Gainesville. Thank you for being here, my freshman brother. And Miss Seta Barnhart, who is here in the Tallahassee area. Thank you for being here. So I see Seta. Seta is the curator of Seed Time Harvest Farms, which she she partners with local farmers to get fresh fruits and vegetables to the community. And so I think that's so timely since we're talking about cultivated, right? When we think about
mhm.
cultivation, or at least when I think about cultivation, I think about the definition around preparing and use of land for crops and gathering, right? And so we are utilizing the term cultivate in terms of our minds. So I think like how are we preparing our minds? How are we, um, using our minds for our greater good?
Yes. And
Hmm.
that is so important, because even though we can't physically touch it, but in our expression, everything have to come from a source, and it come and deviate in so many ways that if we're not in tune, we may just be like the 4th of July, fireworks all over the place, and
Okay.
yet we can't contain. But the most important thing is to understand what are we thinking and being in tune with our thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Now, even if it's negative, why is it negative? And if we could bring a why and put a why to it, we'll know how to navigate through that and be able to use it for the good in whatever direction we need to push that thought into. Because you see, one thing I realize, as I live day by day, if you don't control the day will control you. So,
Mm-hmm.
how's the day controlled? By your thoughts. So once you wake up in the morning, you're already navigating, you're already thinking, okay, what I got to do next, what I got to prepare, how I got to prepare, who I have in my household that I have to get ready to go to wherever they have to go to now, summer camp or childcare, so they could go to work. But at the same time, how are you nurturing your own self throughout that process so you could be disciplined into what you need to be intentionally doing in your development?
So I want to pause us right here because I have more recently been attempting to practice when I get up in the morning, when I open my eyes, not to reach over and get my phone and and scroll or respond to emails or what have you, but to take maybe 10, 15 minutes to just meditate, right?
Yeah,
And that can turn into prayer, but it is, setting my intentions in the morning about like the type of day that I want to have, being present in my body. And again, just setting the intention for the day.
yes,
Not, I could, and I have for many years, got caught up into, I got to do this, I got to do that, I got to be here, I got to be there. But I just am finding that it's so much better when I, again, just kind of set my intention for the day. I breathe deeply. I think, I pray, I meditate on what I want my day to look like. And more times than not, it goes just like that, you know?
right. So you're telling me now that you have set a practice, a
Mm-hmm.
discipline into your mornings. So now it's becoming a habitual way of doing things. And now you're seeing the results of doing it in a positive way daily. So you take in what, 30 minutes, an hour in your mornings now before you start, or just
No,
whatever the minutes?
it's about 15, 20 minutes, to be honest.
Okay, okay. Well, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. One thing I've learned, you know, for myself
Mm-hmm.
is my affirmation at night before I close my eye and go to sleep. For
Okay.
some reason, I have a stream of words that I normally say every night before I close my eyes. And for some reason, I feel this awe of peace
Mm-hmm.
and just calmness within my being. And I just float away, gone, sleep. So when I wake up that morning, it's like the tune and the tone is already set,
Mm.
So, and of course, as soon as I wake up and I open my eyes, I do have another set of words that I normally say as soon as I wake up every single morning. And I
Hmm.
have been doing that for the last 8 months.
Okay.
And I noticed that how everything just starting to change in such a way in my mind, body, and soul.
Mm-hmm.
And I found it to be amazing. I said, wow, I wish I had started saying those things when I was 12 years old. But
Mm.
little do I know, my mind was on a different path, right?
Right, right.
So it's just a matter of developing and habitually just setting a positive tone
Mm-hmm.
daily. Because guess what? Negativity is always going to be there, 100%. But
Hmm.
what we do with it is another thing,
Yes.
because we saying I am setting the tone, not this or that setting the tone for me. So whether there may be temptation or past experiences or people just actually bringing these negative vibes, but at least now we could take that through understanding and turn it around
Hmm.
and say, have you thought about this? Have you observed this? Have you observed your action daily? And do you know what it's really doing to you mentally? You see? Because this is one of the main things that I looked at on the negative part is
Hmm.
the cortisol level that it raises within the mind, whether fight or flight.
Mm.
And if your cortisol level is so high, you're not going to get much sleep at night.
Mm.
And then 2 o'clock in the morning, you up, 3 o'clock in the morning, you up, 5 o'clock in the morning, you just finally sinking into sleep. And then
Hmm.
you have to wake up because your alarm clock went off. And then you're looking for the pot of coffee to actually raise more cortisol in your body early in the morning because you didn't get that rest.
Mm.
So one of the, go ahead, Nicole.
No, so you and we talked about this before the show started, but how much sleep are people getting?
And
So if
and
folks don't mind answering that
yeah,
question, how much sleep are you getting? Ozzy
and
did a
be
two-part,
honest about it too.
yeah, a two-part show on don't sleep on sleep. So how's that sleep going?
Yeah, how is that sleep going? Because that really encounter how your day is going to go the
Hmm.
following day.
Yeah, let us know in the comments if you all don't mind sharing again. This is a safe space for us to engage. But how much sleep are we getting? 5 hours, 6 hours, 7 hours, eight
I get
hours,
7.5.
seven and a
Yeah.
half.
As
Mm,
I told Nicole before the show started, I don't care what's showing on TV, what game is on TV. And some of my close friends know exactly how I think when it comes to that. Oh, yeah, I
mhm.
shut down that TV or whatever I'm doing because now I have to give my brain, my mind time to settle down into that sleep mode.
Yeah.
And the only way to do that is shut every electronic off,
Hmm.
dark room, cold room down at 68 degrees,
Ooh,
so my
8.
body could release more melatonin. Yes. So yeah, I take it seriously, because your brain at night while you're sleeping, believe
Hmm.
it or not, is detoxing.
Hmm.
Yes. That's the only time it's going to detox is while you sleep.
Wow. Okay. Interesting. All
Mhm.
right. We got some folks chiming in, and I appreciate that. Seta said 5 to 6 hours solid. Okay. E said not enough. And how many hours is that, E? You're not telling us nothing. Let us know. Give us a number.
You got three sad faces on that, so it's
You're
3 hours.
right.
Maybe.
Chris said 5 to 6. All right. Thank you, Chris. Said I do like it cold, but not that cold. Listen, I was trying to freeze us out of here. All right. And Brother Quasi just joined us. Peace and blessings. Thank you for being here, Quasi. So I'm probably in the same boat with the 5 to 6 folks. I'm striving to do better.
Right. So number one, Nicole,
Mm.
if everybody could write down on their little piece of paper, notepad, they
Okay.
should know by now as much as I've been coming on. You should always have your pen and notepad to write down your notes and journal, things to reflect on
All
after the
right.
show. So the number one thing that we need to cultivate,
Mm-hmm.
develop is good sleeping habits.
Okay.
Good sleeping habits. So we need to really put that into perspective because of the circadian rhythm. And if we're not in good sync in our circadian rhythm, our day is going to be totally off.
Mm-hmm.
The mood, you'll be on edge, you're always going to be like hustling in a way. And the only way things come to us so we could progress is in calmness.
Okay.
So I'm not even going to go on how calm you are throughout the day. No, we're going to work on how well you cultivating that sleep at night so you
Hmm.
could be able to function effectively and efficiently throughout the day.
Okay. All right. He said varies. Last night he slept from 2 to 7, so he's in that five
Oh,
hour. He's in that 5 hour.
2 a.m.
That's what he
Wow.
said. Hey Tracy Golay, thank you for joining us. We
Mm.
talking about right now. We talking about sleep. How much sleep do you get on average a night? Let
Yeah.
us know in the comments. Let us know. Quasi, you too. Let us know approximately how much sleep you get on average
Yeah.
each night. All right. So you said good sleeping habits. That's one of the things we need to
Yeah.
cultivate.
Got to cultivate. You got to set that time. You have to set that time. Discipline yourself. Some people discipline themselves to 8 p.m., 9 p.m., 10 p.m. I said, at least you should be in your bed by 10 p.m.
That's
You
my goal.
have to set that habit. It may take a while,
Yeah.
it may take a few weeks, but habits is
Mm-hmm.
the key to actually cultivate the positive and right habits for healthy. Because if you want to live long and add longevity in your life, you got to make sure you are respecting it.
Yeah.
Not saying, oh, I'm burning the midnight oil. Burning the midnight oil. I'll be burning the midnight sleep in my third dream, because it's so essential
Mm,
because the body, you don't want to get up and having to go through the day in pain.
mm. Okay.
And the only way to correct that, believe it or not, is the best medicine is rest. You
Rest.
have to get your rest. Why? Because it's so important to have that energy to work through the day. Keyword work through the
Mm,
day. And
got
if you want to be able to work through the day effectively and efficiently with good tasking, not no multitasking, but good tasking that you can focus on one task at a time, you got to
mm,
get your rest.
mm-hmm.
Got to get your rest. So I would say set your clock, set your time. Even my
Mm-hmm.
phone go into do not disturb from 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. Usually I'm up at 5 a.m. in the morning. And
Mm,
between 5 a.m. to 6 a.m., I am meditating, I am reading, I am studying throughout that hour because you have to set the tone in order to rule the day.
mm. Okay.
Else, the day is going to rule you, and everybody in it is going to rule you too because you can't focus, you can't think, you can't see because you don't know if you're coming or going.
True that. All right.
So,
So folks are
mhm,
chiming in. Chris said this is so good. Good to hear confirmation of so many things I have read about. All right,
right,
wonderful. Quasi, unfortunately, I get about 6 hours per night, except during family football, home games, game season. About I don't know how many hours he said Thursday through Saturday, probably two, because I know how busy he is during that season because he's one of the vendors.
right,
Marcus, he said I'm not very good at multitasking.
right.
Oh,
Yeah, we
okay.
could only do one thing at a time anyway, so we might as well
Yeah.
practice being present in that
Mm-hmm.
daily. So here it is, 4 hours. Okay. So here
Mm-hmm.
it is. Take starting today. Today's
Mm-hmm.
the 30th. We're going into the 1st of July, a whole new month, 31 days. Let's take that 31 days to start focusing on proper rest.
Okay.
Because proper rest, that means your heart is going to be in sync, your mind is going to be in sync, your body is going to be in tune, so you could be able to function. The key word is function. And once we acknowledge that and we start seeing how good we feel, it's nothing more great waking up in the morning that you slept so good that you don't even need a cup of coffee. Even
Mhm.
though I love my coffee now because coffee is full of polyphenols in there and it is good for the brain also, but at least it needs to be drank black. Yes.
Okay.
So I know some people love their sugar, which we're not going to get on that tonight, and the creams and the foams on
Mm.
the no longer coffee anymore. But
So pause for a moment.
yeah,
Donda just joined us. Thank you for being here, Donda. Uh, Miss Teresa, who is here, she said, just tuned in. What's defined as proper rest?
yes. What's defined as proper rest?
Mm-hmm.
7 to 8 hours of sleep every night without interruption is considered proper rest. Some
Without interruption.
without interruption. Of course, you got to get up and use the restroom, maybe one time, but if you find that you keep on going, that's a whole different subject right there.
Mm.
But I would say between 7 to 9 hours, eight to be on point,
Mm-hmm.
I would say 8 hours. If you could discipline yourself to get up to 8 hours, I guarantee you're going to live past 95 years old.
What?
Yes, I guarantee you because we have really ignored this thing called proper rest. We like to go out at night, enjoy the nightlife, and it's okay. But let me tell you this, you can't catch up on sleep. There's nothing called catch up on sleep.
No, you cannot.
So basically, that for you saying you're going to catch up on sleep, that means you're trying to go back to the 25th of June to catch up. No, you can't do it. It's
Mr.
impossible.
Miss Teresa said that's a serious guarantee. I agree, Miss Teresa. I
Yeah,
don't know about that, Ozzie, but okay. You
yeah,
the you the rest expert. Donda
yeah.
said proper rest is more than just sleeping.
There you go. There you
Okay.
go. Because your body is healing.
Mm-hmm.
Your soul is evolving. You actually, if you want to really get deep, you actually get downloaded with
Mm-hmm.
information into your body, into your mind, or what you need to do for the next day. So,
So so Key had
mhm.
a question about how much time should you dedicate to winding down before bed?
Oh, that's a good question, Kiki. I say probably a good hour, and it's actually like setting the tone, setting the mood, you
Mm-hmm.
know. Yeah. So, like for example, at 8:30, well, we passed that time. I normally be setting my thermostat. I'm
Mm-hmm.
setting the mood. I set it to 68. Next thing, I close all my blinds. I start having a lot of lights minimized to the key that even my phone turned into dark mode.
Okay.
So all of these things cut off the light because all of these things consider stimulation. Your
Mm-hmm.
brain is not going to know the difference. Like, oh, I need to be up or I need to stay awake because the light is on. But if you
Right.
shut it off and then start getting yourself in your room and shut everything off,
Mm-hmm.
give your body the respect that it needs. And say, hey,
So
man, you've been working me all day. Put me to rest so I could be able to do more with my life.
I want to ask the viewers: does anybody have a wind down routine that they follow consistently or on a regular basis? Let us know in the comments. I'm curious. Donda said 7 to 9 hours of sleep is optimal. Start winding down about an hour before actually getting in bed and turning off things that will stimulate your brain.
Yes.
Absolutely, yes,
Yes, right on point. That's
indeed.
that's the mindset right there. That is
Mm.
cultivating 101 sleep right there.
Yes, it is. All
That
right.
is,
So I'm gonna put 1A is wind down, start winding down an hour before.
yeah,
Okay.
you know,
All
all your
right.
night. Yeah, set your shows and your programs, record it for the afternoon or daytime, you know, on the weekends, but
Oh,
give your body give your body the respect it needs. You
got it.
know, I guarantee you, another guarantee, it'll keep you out of the hospital. It'll keep you out from a lot of different ERs because of that one thing. And
Okay.
what I'm trying to bring into tune is this is getting that cortisol level low,
Mm-hmm.
normalize it. Because we can't see it. We sometimes think, oh, that's the norm. But sometimes it's not the norm. And the one way to trace it down is how much sleep you really getting. If you're only getting 4 to 5 hours of sleep a night, your cortisol level is too high.
Hmm. Okay.
So 1B, 1B,
What's 1B?
1B is exercise.
That's two.
1B. That's two. You have to get some exercise. Got to get the blood flow.
Okay.
Everything is on blood flow.
Gotcha.
If it's not flowing, you ain't going.
Okay. Look at you rhyming.
You got to get that exercise. And I mean, I'm not talking about like no kind of strenuous lifting weights and 3 hours in the gym. No, a good 40-minute walk in the park. Get
Okay.
up early in the morning, get out there. It's summertime, and get out there and get a 30-minute walk. Even if you have some home videos, do some home videos, exercise. Believe me, you will feel better and you'll strengthen the heart. You'll get that brain focus, get that
Mm-hmm.
mind focus, so you could do what? More. The key
Mm.
word that I'm trying to get to is for you to be able to do more, not
Yeah.
less, because
Yeah.
everything derives on energy.
Absolutely. So we are a little more than halfway through our talk. For those of you who are just tuning in, I am on with Ozzie Daniel, who is a clinician out of Virginia Beach, Virginia, and we are talking about cultivate it. The it is our mind. Thus far, we've talked about the importance of good sleeping habits, which include winding down an hour before you actually get in the bed to go to sleep at night and getting on average between 7 to 9 hours of sleep daily. Our
Mhm.
second point is exercise for blood flow. Doesn't have to be at the gym. You can do it around your neighborhood or in your house. But that's what we've been talking about thus far. So Donda says she usually listens to wind sounds.
Good.
And I missed somebody who came in. Joel Sedla is here
All
with
right.
us here in
All
Tallahassee.
right
Thank you
now.
for joining us, Joel.
Yeah.
Um,
And when we say winding down in the evening,
mhm.
I'm not talking about with a glass of wine either, because some
Gotcha.
people may make that connection. Oh,
Gotcha.
winding down. Oh, I need
Right.
to have a glass of wine. No, stay away
Okay.
from the alcohol, because
Right.
now you've fallen asleep due to the alcohol, which that's a whole different topic on the liver. So
Mm,
cut that out. Drink some chamomile tea instead.
okay.
You know,
Donna said no caffeine after 4.
no caffeine after 4. I probably would say no caffeine after 11 a.m.
Gosh. Oh, wow.
Because you see what happened is this, right? The caffeine stay in your system for at least 8 hours. So if
Mm,
you drink that caffeine about 4 p.m., you're looking at, well, you may not get to bed until falling asleep actually until 11, 12 o'clock,
hmm. Okay.
because it's a stimulant. It's good, but timing is everything. So I'm talking
Okay.
about caffeinated drinks also, and I'm
Mm,
talking about juices also. And you want to stay away from those things,
yeah.
and actually, if you're drinking some water in the evening, put a little pinch of Himalayan salt, because what that does, it helps bring down that cortisol level down too.
Hmm.
It helps. So
Okay.
that's a good practice right there. And if you know you're one person always have to get up throughout the night, Drink your last glass of water at 7 a.m. and make sure you
7
drink
p.m.
7 p.m. I mean,
Okay.
sorry, and you drink your first glass of water, 16 ounces, first thing when you wake up, because the water you drink is a natural detox, because your saliva is a detoxifier also.
Okay.
So if you wait, you drink that 16 ounces of water and you wait 20 minutes before you brush your teeth, before you drink your first cup or tea or coffee. You'll be surprised. You'll lose a few pounds just by doing that first thing in the morning. Why? Because you're cleansing, you're detoxing, and your
Nice.
saliva is actually doing all that work for you with no charge.
Okay. A few more folks have joined us. Mr. Nick Rains is in the house. Thank you for being here.
Hey, Arthur, how you doing? Welcome in the house, there, son.
I
Y'all did a
know.
great job a couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
So on that, it was a Wednesday night. Yeah, so
yeah, they
yeah,
did. They
awesome work, awesome work. Mhm.
Yes. Tangi just joined us as well. Thank you for being here, Tangi. We did have a question from Marcus. He said, oftentimes my body starts making me go to sleep and I can't fight it off. What does this mean?
Go to sleep. Well, what time
Okay.
is that though? What time
Mm-hmm.
is that, Marcus?
That's a good question. Key said, thank you. I think she maybe said, listen to scriptures and rain, the ocean and thunder sounds to help calm my mind. Scriptures, especially when I can't fall asleep. Thank you for sharing
Okay.
that. Yeah.
I did a study and I found out if you lay in the bed and you can't fall asleep,
Mm-hmm.
blink your eye for 1 minute straight.
Hmm.
I haven't tested that theory yet, but I just found that in one of my studies.
Okay. All right. Marcus responded. He said 1:30 a.m. And that was to the his body starts
What do you
uh
mean?
go to
He
sleep.
can't at
It's like
1:30 he can't? Of course.
you're supposed to be
You're
sleeping.
supposed to be asleep already. What are you fighting it off for, Marcus? Please explain. Why are you fighting
Right.
it off? What's really going on that you're trying to fight it off at 1:30 a.m.?
Right. That part.
That
That
part.
part. Great.
Okay.
So number two is exercise. What's number three?
Number three, we need to start reframing our perspective.
Okay.
So when I say that, I'm talking about life lessons. Sometimes we hold on to too much negative experiences
Mm,
without turning the leaf over to make it a learning experience so we could be able to evolve.
mm,
So we need to start reframing our perspective on these things, on lesson learned, so we could be able to develop new skills. Sometimes you got to just let it go. Just like how I spoke on a subject on that a couple months ago, just let it go. We have to let things go intentionally so our mind could be opened up to new ideas.
mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So if we're going to do that, we have to learn to let things go. So look at things in a new perspective so we could build strength. We could build courage. We could build resilience, so we could be able to stand firm moving on day to day into the future. Because if we do not do that, we'll be stuck,
Mm-hmm.
stuck.
Very
And
true.
then you surely ain't going to get enough rest throughout the night because you're going to be worrying, worrying, worrying. Because it don't just poof, okay, I'm going to sleep now. No, it stays with you. So basically, as I was saying earlier, I have words and affirmations I say before I go to sleep every night. And when I do that, it actually is like a release. It's
Mm,
like you have a valve, you just
mm,
release. So
mm,
everything that happened throughout that day, everything that happened even a day before, it's no longer there. I am opening up my R for relief, for
mm.
peace.
Mm-hmm.
but our mindset have to be in that place to say, you know what, I want to be a harmonizer. I want to be able to think clearly. You have to intentionally say these things in order for things to evolve within.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's going to hold on.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to
Okay.
hold on. So sometime, Nicole, we just have to practice that self-compassion. And
Mm-hmm.
this is for the person that said earlier this evening that they are overthinkers. That means
Yes.
you need to have more self compassion upon yourself. Be kind to yourself because now you holding on to things thinking that you could solve everything. No, you can't.
Mm-hmm.
You could be a skillful person in problem solving, but no,
Right.
release it.
So Marcus responded to the 1:30 a.m. He said editing and formatting books. So Marcus is an author. I think 17-time book author.
Mm,
And he also has his
congratulations.
own publishing company. So he
Mm.
publishes books as well. So
Okay, awesome. Well, you need to you see your body screaming at you saying, "Hey, I need to lay it down," and you trying to keep it up. So therefore, you're not in harmony with your own self. So
mhm.
you may have to peel back that time there, sir, so
Yeah.
you could be able to do more and be able to write 100 more books and edit 100 more books
Hmm.
and keep them brain cells operating in the hippocampus there by
Right.
getting that rest. Because guess what? It's going to be there.
Yeah. So
But set that time frame.
so Ish said he's going to report back on how the blinking works. So we're going to
Thank you, Ishmael. I'll be looking forward to that.
yes. And then E was the one that talked about overthinking, but he said anxiety has him up at 1:30 a.m. No cap.
Okay, so in that case, need to start practicing meditation.
Hmm.
It's not going to come easy, okay? Because it start have a timer for 5 minutes. Just
Mhm.
sit in a quiet place, close your eye, no music, no noise, no nothing. Just sit in a place just for 5 minutes. And even though you cannot stop your brain from processing, it's going to do its own thing. But
Mhm.
mindfulness come from keeping still and allowing yourself to focus on your breathing so you could be in tune.
Yeah.
So build yourself up from 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and keep on working on that. And then drink some chamomile tea in the evening, so you could just relax. And if you're not exercising, get up in the morning and walk out there in nature early in the morning and catch a sunrise,
Hmm.
and do that just to get your body in tune, in calmness, because if you don't do that, it's going to hurt later on, and most naturally, you're going to start feeling it in your joints.
Mhm. All right. He said receive. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
Keisha just joined us. Thank you for being here.
Hey, Keisha.
All right. And Keyboy says, speaking of overthinking, I saw a clip today that suggested overthinking is spiritual warfare. Ooh, I never heard that before. I'm going to look into it. Yeah,
Mhm.
I can see that being the case. But I hadn't heard of that either.
Well,
Don, she said, my therapist once told me to create a restful environment in
yeah,
terms of, I think, the meditation that you were suggesting.
yes. And
Mm.
these things is part of cultivating.
Yes.
So if we're not cultivating these things here, it's like the task become harder. The
Mm,
garden not looking too beautiful because it has so much weed up
mm,
in there. And the only person that is responsible of plucking those weeds is us.
mm-hmm.
Not somebody else, but us. So we have to maintain our own garden, and that garden is the mind. So we have to foster it, we have to nurture it to
Yeah.
develop it, so
Mm,
in doing so it builds healthy relationship with others.
mm-hmm.
We're able to share our skills and ideas with others,
Yes.
so we could continually actively work in.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So we got good sleeping habits, exercise, reframing your perspective. Anything else?
Yes. And I know with all of the psychologists and all the therapists, we have heard this main word, and it's broken down to SMART goals.
Mm-hmm.
It got to be specific, it got to be measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound
Mm-hmm.
goals. So, what goals are we really setting up for ourselves? Is it achievable? Is it relevant? Is it really something that we're really passionate about?
Mm-hmm.
So, if that's something that we need to work on, we need to be cultivating that. That
Mm.
means we need to write it down, journal it, so we could articulate what we are seeing with our eyes. So while we write, the ideas towards that goal will come along. You
Mm.
see, it only comes through writing. The ideas come through writing, not
Okay.
typing on your keyboard, which is okay, but writing with that pen in our hand,
Okay.
you know? So if we practice that SMART goals, we are able to really focus more on what we need to be doing in the now,
Okay.
cultivating the now, So we cultivate the now and being kind to ourselves and reframing our perspective. Guess what's going to start happening? The flow. I call
Mm.
it the flow. That means you
Okay.
flowing.
Mm.
That energy is flowing in the right direction. It's flowing down that stream in the right direction. Why? Because now you are present in what you're doing. Everything that needs to be connected to you at that time for you to achieve that goal will come to you.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because you're present. You
Okay.
know, I believe deeply in my heart that's where God wants us at. So we could hear his voice. We could
Mm.
hear what we need to be doing next because I believe all of that come from him, but we need to be in tune with him so we
Mm.
could know what to do, how to do, when to do at that time.
Okay. Seta said that's true. Writing your goals out makes a difference.
Mhm.
And Chris said, are you familiar with the Savers routine? The Miracle Morning Savers is an acronym for silence, affirmation, visualization, exercise, reading, and scribing. Oh, I hadn't
Well,
heard.
I guess I've been doing that Savers for what? The last 5 years of my life.
Okay.
Okay, I'm glad to see there's always an acronym for everything, right?
Yep.
But I like that silence, affirmation, visualization, exercise, reading, and scribing. I
Hmm.
love it. I
Yeah.
love it. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Thank
yeah, I like that. I really do.
you.
That's,
Hmm.
yeah, you should just change that and put Ozzie instead because that's what it look like. you know yeah, because I love that. I love the quiet moments. I love silence.
Hmm.
Just for, I always tell Nicole, find your 20, right?
Find your
Find your 20, find your 20. You will be surprised the inspiration and the
Mm.
affirmation that comes in that time. And I call it the hunches sometimes.
Yeah.
You get a little hunch. Oh man, never thought of that. Oh
Mm.
yeah. It comes that way sometime, you
Yeah.
know
Absolutely.
it comes like that sometimes. So get into that quiet place. And tonight I challenge everyone to come up with some positive affirmation to say. I'm not going to tell you what I say in mind. Positive affirmation for yourself from your soul to say every night
Hmm.
before you fall asleep, and practice doing that every night for 7 days straight, and let me see and let me hear what happened on day 8.
Okay.
I'm telling you,
So we
it's
got homework.
uh
We
yes,
got homework.
yeah, yeah, of course. That's why I always state as of tonight, make sure you have your notepad and your pen to take notes because you may have to go back and do some reflecting after the show and during the week, you know? Because the most important thing, Nicole, is gaining understanding. What
Mm,
more greater thing there is to understand self?
okay.
If
Nice.
you understand self, you don't have to argue with self because now you know how to resolve things from the self perspective so you could be able to create harmony wherever you go.
And we want harmony.
Harmony, 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 you
Yes.
know? So, and let's evolve in it. That's the most important thing.
So Quasi said, I agree that getting 8 hours of sleep is great for the body and will extend a person's life. All right. Thank you for
Mhm.
co-signing on that. And Chris said from the book, The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod. So that's where that savors
Yeah.
the miracle morning.
The
That's what that
miracle moment. I'm writing it
savors,
down.
yeah, that savors routine came from.
Okay.
All right. Again, thank you, Chris.
Thank
All
you.
right. So we are at number 4. Did we have anything else?
Yes, we're going to. Oh, we're almost there, huh? All right. We'll set this one to close on that, even though I have many more, but that would take us past our bedtime till 10
No,
o'clock.
and we
Yeah.
don't want to do that
So
yet.
embrace a growth mindset.
Okay.
So the way we do that, we have to view setbacks as opportunities.
Hmm.
You know, have a positive mind approaching challenges as opportunities for learning rather than obstacles, because doing that, it helps build resilience,
Okay.
but sometimes we have to embrace constructive criticism.
Mm-hmm.
Some people don't know how to deliver constructive criticism. They usually wait till everything go into straight chaos before they share their thoughts, but at the same time, still be open to listen and absorb. What I normally do when I hear criticism or negative criticism, I try to understand the person's point of view to an extent,
Mm-hmm.
and I just take it and I say, okay, how is this balancing work life? How is
Mm.
this balancing what's happening right now?
Mm-hmm.
So within that time frame, whatever that message is, it have 5 minutes to be entertained in my mind.
Okay.
Now, if it's not effective or solving or promoting better health, better
Mm.
strength, and better community, it get filtered out because that's how I have trained my mind over the years. If it's not going to be strength and encouraging and upbuilding, it's going to get filtered out. I'm not going to entertain it. I will hear it, but it's not going to be entertained. Why? Because it's not going to bear fruit.
Okay. It makes sense.
Right.
Uh, Brother Kufu has joined us. He said, great subject. He's here in Tallahassee. Thank you for being here, Kufu. Quasi said, listening to John Coltrane, Miles Davis, Sarah Vaughan, Ella Fitzgerald, maybe Nat King Cole,
Yeah.
etc. is a good wind down session. Yes.
Yes, yes, yes. Oh,
Yeah.
Miles Davis.
Mm,
Yeah. All right. I like that.
yeah.
I
Thank
like
you for
that.
sharing with me.
Wind down. Yeah. So let's embrace that, growth mindset
Mm,
and practice surrounding yourself with positivity. It's kind of hard for a negative person with a negative mindset to understand what positivity is and to surround themselves with positivity because some people just evolve more and they get energized on chaos and negativity. But if you're a positive person, start dropping that positive note into that person's life, because they
Mm,
probably experienced some trauma, they experienced some negativity, some things that they're still healing from.
mhm.
So sometime just put a word out in prayer into the air.
Yeah.
you and sometime you may have to separate yourself and love from a distance.
Yeah.
Yes, love from a distance. So there we go. Cultivate it. What you're going to cultivate? Your sleeping habits. What you're going to
Yes.
cultivate? Your exercising habits. What you're
Yes.
going to cultivate? Having smart goals and just embracing a growth mindset. Are you growing from it? Are you achieving from it? Is it developing you? Are you seeing some kind of results from your practices and your discipline? And if it's not, you might have to go back and revisit it and reframe your perspective on the matter. And the
Mhm.
key is only you alone could do that. Sometimes we rely on others, which is okay. Listen, but are you listening to think, or are you just listening just to be entertained?
Mm,
The key is listen to think, even if it's putting you in a position to really look at things in a different angle, so you could be able to promote who you are to become. Because remember what the word says, as a man thinketh, so is he. So the
mm,
question of the day, even after you get off the show, what are you thinking? What are you becoming?
mm.
Only time will tell.
All right. That sounds like a mic drop to me.
And bing, bing.
Ah.
Yeah, so walk in love, be love, walk in love so you can share love, and the only way to be it is to become it.
Hmm.
So we got to meditate on these things, but seriously, please write down, memorize, let your mind go into practice in saying your positive affirmation before you go to bed every night. I
Mm,
guarantee you, another guarantee, you may add you may add another hour to your sleep that you've been losing
mm.
because of that positive affirmation that you said.
Boy, oh boy. You, yeah, you stepping all on my toes tonight, Ozzy, but it's okay.
Ouch. Did I get the pinky one or the big
Yeah,
one?
you did all of them, all of the toes. You stepping on them, but it's okay. It's all
It's
right.
okay.
It's for the better. I'm
It's
gonna
all good for development,
gonna
because guess what? We
what
just want to add longevity to our life.
we do.
We want to be fit, body, mind, and soul.
Yes.
Body, mind, and soul,
Yeah.
So we
Yeah.
could be a vessel of stewardship.
Mhm.
Yeah. So we could do what? More.
Greater works.
Yes, greater works, just
That's
like the
right.
name of your program, greater
Yeah,
works. You
that's it.
know, we got to put it. So the network is the mind. What are
Yes.
we doing with that network up there? It's really going to project everything that we're doing. So we either evolving or we decreasing.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, Ozzy, tell the folks how they can connect with you.
You could connect with me on Facebook, Ozzie Daniel. You could connect with me on email, the Oz Corner at gmail.com, or Oswiz2819 on Instagram.
Mhm.
And you could also message me if you want. And just let's stay on the subject. Let's keep building each other up and making the best of ourselves. The best gift to yourself and to God is becoming and developing what He created within us. And the only one that could bring the best out of Him, out of us, is the Lord Himself. So let's have a healthy relationship with ourselves so we could have a healthy relationship with others through a healthy relationship in truth with ourselves and to the Holy Spirit.
All right, very good. So this has been a robust conversation. We have a lot of homework to do. uh, this good sleep habits, exercise, reframing your perspectives, setting smart goals, and embracing a growth mindset, as well as these positive affirmations that we're going to uh, create for ourselves and say before we go to bed
Oh
for
yeah,
several
and
days.
believe me, the next time I do come on, I am gonna ask about it. I
I
sure
know,
am.
I
So
know.
don't skip class on that one.
That's it. All right. So Warren Cave. I'm sorry I missed Dr. Oz. Our replay. Love y'all. Thank you,
All
Warren.
right now, Warren.
Donda, awesome show. Definitely have to push replay on this one. Thank you, Donda. And Belinda, my classmate. I'm so glad I tuned in. I needed to hear this. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Thank you. And Marcus is my hype man. Like and subscribe to Conversations with Nicole on YouTube. Tell him again, Marcus.
All right, thank you,
Yes.
Marcus.
Yes, please like, please subscribe. Subscribing and supporting, and I need all the support I can get.
All right.
Um, Thank you, Ozzie, so much for being on and talking about cultivating it. I think this is so timely as we go into the second half of 2025.
Yeah.
So we definitely need to cultivate our minds and stay focused on the things that were uh, discussed today. All
Yes.
right. Yes,
Yes.
yes, yes, yes. Okay, Quasi, reading a good book will make you sleepy before bedtime. Yes, that is
That
a
is so true. That is so
good
true.
way to do that wind
Yes, indeed.
down. Yes, great, great advice, Quasi. Thank you for that. So I'm a share the schedule for the rest of the week for you all because it is a robust one. Wednesday we have Dr. Latanya White who's coming back on. She was on in May, and our topic was empowering family prosperity, legacy, opportunity, and equity. She is the curator of Dynastic Wealth, and she has a 12-week tracker and checklist, a free checklist that she will be sharing with us. So that'll be Wednesday at 8:30. You don't want to miss this. This is really all about families coming together and building together. And so I know family reunion time is coming up for many folks if they haven't already had it. And so this will help you get your family on track for what you're trying to do to build legacy for generations to come. And then on Friday, I have the mayor of Tallahassee on at 3 p.m. on Conversations with Nicole YouTube channel. Tallahassee was just named an All American City just yesterday. They went to a do a presentation. Several citizens from Tallahassee went, and so they were named. We've been named for the third time in a row an All American City.
All
So
right.
kudos
Congratulations.
to the city of Tallahassee for that. And then on Sunday, I have Miss Barbie Morrow, who is the executive director of Independence Landing here in Tallahassee, and that will be on 8:30 a.m. on 96.1, as well as on Spotify at 9 a.m. Conversation with Nicole. So lots to listen to and check
Yeah.
out, right? Lots to listen to. So again, thank you, Ozzie.
You're
I
welcome.
really appreciate you. Marcus says he really wants a cup of coffee. No coffee. No coffee.
Oh, come on, Marcus. Come on, come on. I may have to write a book and mail it down to you so you could edit that one, on your habits.
Right. All right.
Dedicated to Marcus.
And Keith said, thank you, Ozzie and Nicole. Great
You're
information.
welcome, Kiki.
Thank you.
Appreciate your presence
Appreciate
tonight.
you being here. All right, good people. We got to wind down so we can go to bed.
That's
So
right.
I'm
And
not
you know me, every time I'm done with this show, it takes me an hour and a half to wind down.
no, get you some tea and just
Oh,
chill.
yeah, the chamomile tea's already sitting right there.
All right, love it. And Chris said, great
Oh,
show tonight, Dr. Oz.
thank
All
you, Chris, for
longer.
sharing too. I appreciate
Yes,
it.
thanks for
Thank
the
you so
affirmation.
much.
Absolutely. All right, good people. We will see y'all next time. Have a good night. Bye.
Good night.